15.7 ounces. Holy crap, that's light. I'm expecting this to not be very fun to shoot. Let's go out to the range and see how badly I can beat these hands up. Let's go. Alright, now there's the gun range, and it's a little bit windy out here this morning, so I'm gonna beg for your forgiveness for the wind noise that I know is going to happen. I got some Blazer and some Tula, so I got to run through this today to see how it functions. So I'll get you set up on a tripod and let's go shooting. That's 25 rounds of Blazer. Let's try the Tula. Light primer strike. Another one. Going back to Blazer. Well, that was 50 rounds of Blazer, 10 rounds of Tula. I'm going to put in 5 more, and 5 rounds of my reloads, and no malfunctions with the brass case stuff, but this Tula, yeah, a lot of people are going to say Tula's garbage anyway, and I mean, it's just plinking rounds. But apparently these Berdan primed steel cases are a little tougher than boxer primers, and they don't ignite as readily. But yeah, see, fair to feed. Yeah, when they do go bang, they go bang, you know. But I'm really pleasantly surprised with the lack of failure on this gun. I mean, One of the things I was warned about was about these receiver pins. Yeah, they tend to walk, and they're moving, but I expected that. The difference between this pistol and the Sky pistol, when I bought the Sky pistol, I had great expectations because you know, I bought that gun on a recommendation of a bunch of YouTubers, and you know, I didn't find any negative press about the CPX2, so I bought one, and immediately the frame broke within the first 40 rounds. And during the 6 months that I had that gun and the 800 rounds that I put through it, it had gone back to Florida twice. And because of my high expectations, I think I just gave up on that and decided not to mess with it anymore. But when I started looking into this pistol, there's a lot of negative press about this little gun. So when I went into this purchase, I went into it with both eyes open and with no expectations. And I gotta say, just based on the first 60 rounds, yeah, this thing is kind of particular about what you feed it. But and it's not something that you're gonna shoot 200 rounds through comfortably. One thing I did notice is that a gloved finger does not fit very well into the trigger guard, but you'd almost want a gloved hand because the web of your hand here gets beat pretty good. It's got some poke to it too, but it's a pocket gun. What would you expect? But all in all, I'm pleased. But it's just the first 50 rounds. Let's go back to the ranch there and break this thing down and take a good look at it. I'll show you a couple of things that I did before I even shot this gun. And one thing that I did do before I even considered taking this out to the range shooting is I tore it down and I cleaned it. And then when I reassembled it, I used a Molly graphite assembly lube. This is what I used on the rails, and I coated the barrel. Anywhere where there's wear surface, I used that engine assembly lube for two reasons. Number one, I have it, and it's a lot cheaper than gun-specific greases. And if it's good enough to break in an engine, it should be good enough to break in a gun. So is my theory. I took this gun down and cleaned. Let me clear this. I took this gun down and cleaned it, and it still felt gritty. You know, it felt like it was dry. And I used just regular gun oil, and it just didn't seem to do the trick. And so I used some of that on there, and it was like, dang. And I'll roll some footage in right here where I actually shot, what, about 30 rounds. I didn't have a single failure. They used the same ammo that I used before. And I had somebody comment on the video I made in this saying I wouldn't trust my life to that after seeing your video. And my argument was that I don't think this gun was ever broke in. I do a little bit of research to find out how old this gun is, when the manufacture date is, but I don't think this gun was ever really shot all that much. But I didn't have any failures after it was lubricated properly, so I felt how that slide moved on there, and so I used that same grease on this, and I didn't have any issues with the Blazer, and of course you saw with Tula, I was having some light primer strikes. And I think the reason why, like I mentioned, is because the Verdun primers are probably a little harder than the Boxer primers. And one other thing that I did right before I put this thing back together after I cleaned it initially, I took my Dremel out and I put some Jeweler's Rouge on a buffing attachment, and I burnished that feed ramp. It was already a high polish, but I went in there and I polished all around it. I stuck that thing right in the chamber and polished everything. So there's the wear patterns after about 100 rounds. You think about getting one of these, what you want to pay close attention to are these pins right here. Not so much this pin in the middle, that's the trigger axis pin, but these receiver pins right here, there's 3 of them. And they do have a tendency to walk out on you. Let me push this one in. Yeah, so I just pushed that right back into place. This one seems to be staying put, but and that's probably just smart advice for any of these small pocket pistols, but this one in particular and the Sky CPX2 both have issues with those pins moving. Like I said, I didn't have really high expectations for this pistol, but you know, there was enough good reviews and good press out there. It remains to be seen. I shot, all in all, I shot probably about 100 rounds today through this gun. The only failures that I had were ammo related, and it was all with the Tula steel case, 115 grain. So, and you know, some of the reviews that I watched on YouTube said to be, you know, to feed this stuff good ammunition. That's not to say that Blazer's great ammunition, but it's probably better than Tula. But that being said, I also ran a few of my reloads through this, and I know you're not supposed to, but my last video, the stuff is not, it's within Sammy's spec, I would imagine. Certainly isn't plus P. So, you know, I felt comfortable shooting that through here. Just like I felt comfortable shooting it through any of the 9s that I have. At this point, after the first shots, I like this thing. It wasn't nearly as big a handful as some people made it out to be, although it will. There's pretty aggressive stippling here in the, or checkering, or whatever you want to call it, texturing on the back strap as well as on the front strap. So because it's so light and it's a 9mm, it will beat the palm of your hand up pretty good. After 50 rounds, it was starting to tenderize my hand a little bit, but it isn't anything that's gonna, you know, cause you a lot of pain. This is more comfortable to shoot by far than this, and this one weighs 3.5 ounces more and is only 380. That's the Diamondback DB9, and like I said, I'm going to keep shooting it, and if there's any failures, hopefully you won't have to see this gun until we hit 1,000. When it hits 1,000 rounds and it ain't broke and it's still running, we'll do a follow-up video on it. In the meantime, you know the drill. You have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep the powder dry, and have a splendid day.